it's really interesting because what began this theme about the end of the world? I suspect that it might have been due to the Codex of Dresden, because the Codex of Dresden talks about the rotation of the Earth around the Sun, and it also talks about the rotation of the Moon around the Earth, and then it proceeds to talk about the rotation of Mars and Mercury and Saturn and Venus, okay, and Halley's Comet. But above all these things, it also talks about all solar and lunar eclipses until the year 2012, and that's where it stops. And I think that's where a lot of people misconcluded it was the end of the world. But the Mayans never said that. The thing is, that's a massive celebration in this year. Why? Because we have a lot of astronomical things occurring. For example, we have Venus passing in front of the Sun in between us, which happens 100 years, every 100 years. We also have something else happening. We have, for example, the alignment of the planets on one side of the Sun, which is occurring. And we also are completing. I don't know how the Mayans understood that the Earth actually rotates on the tip of a huge galaxy. And the movement of this around our galaxy is a celebration of 5,200 year cycle. Okay? Mayans see life as small cycles within bigger cycles. So they have the cycle of Tum, which is a rotation of the Earth, which is a year. King is a movement of the Sun, which is a day. And Baktum is usually a 20-year cycle. And Katum is a 20-year cycle, and the Baktum is a 400-year cycle, and the Kalabaktum is a 1600-year cycle, and Kilchiltum is another huge, massive cycles. So what's happening though is that the Mayans can't go beyond the year 2012 because of the orbits of the planets are changing the magnetical pull of our Earth. We still we wiggle like this as we're rotating, okay? But with the orbits leaning towards one side, we're having a magnetical change. So with the earthquake of Japan, we actually are 2 degrees off. So we've changed. Polaris is no longer our polar star. We're changing polar stars. It began a long time ago, but it's going to take more or less about 1,000 years to fix our new polar star, and then it's going to rain for 1,000 years more. The thing is that the azimuth, or the height of our heavens, has shifted. Therefore, the Mayans couldn't continue telling about solar and lunar eclipses because they would have to redo their mathematical calculations. And that's why it's a big change. It's the end of our mathematical, astronomical calculations. That's what's over. It's not the end of the world. It means that the Mayans will be sitting here on these big pyramids taking new orientation measurements for Polaris and Venus and Saturn and Jupiter, because we're having a new change in the angle of our axis, and that's the new change, okay? So it's not the end of the world, it's the end of a 5,200 year cycle. You see our little roly-poly now? He's out now, walking again.
Thank you.